Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
It's that time again. Wind 'em up and let 'em go!
What do you say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Be anything you wanna be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of time. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got a soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging dare? When your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Be anything you wanna be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. Hey now, cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. Ooh, cannonball. Woo-hoo. Cannonball.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 2018 Season 16 round number 10, the halfway point in the season here at Silverstone in Great Britain. My name is King-Kodiak and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box, I am always happy to say, is my faithful companion, Mr. Hamish Upwith.
Yes, good evening everyone. So, Silverstone, what a track. It's a fan favourite for the drivers and for the fans, obviously, and hopefully you guys watching. It's a very high speed track, about 70% full throttle, but hopefully we're going to get a good race. And will it rain? We're not sure yet. There's quite a lot of cloud coverage at the moment, but we may get rain in either qualifying or the race.
Well, we had quite wet quality last time and dry race previously, so we will see what happens this time. As you can see with the track facts, Silverstone built on an old World War II airfield. First hosted its first Grand Prix in 1948, which reported 100,000 spectators attended, and it's been on the calendar since the inaugural first ever official F1 race in 1950. If he takes pole in 2019, Lewis Hamilton will set a new record for most poles at his home event. The current record is shared between Hamilton and Senna, who started the Brazilian GP 6 times from the top spot. An incredible record, I think we'll all agree. Well, what can we expect from today's races? The hard, the mediums and the softs available to our drivers for today. It being so close to Christmas, we do have a number of absentees. 8 of our normal drivers will not be with us. We do have Isaac Price pulled in for reserve, so 13 will be taken to the circuit this time around. That is the track records. Marcel Kiefer last time with a pole time of 1:26.132, and if it's dry as we expect it to be, that should be smashed judging by previous track records that we've seen so far. And total time last time was Brendan Lee, just shy of the 40-minute mark, 39.32.
Yeah, absolutely. We're already seeing some very quick times on the board, so it's good to see last year's pole time at least being smashed. But I think, as always, we're going to get a very close qualifying, Kodiak.
Oh yes, oh absolutely yes, and here we have a screenshot from Daniel Beresnay, who's sadly not with us this time, against Sorensen, as we just saw. But before we go to that, let's have a look at the hot lap by Wycombs.
Let's join PC Split 1 driver Wycombs as we go on a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, coming across the start-finish line to begin our lap as we go over to the left-hand side before going to the flat-out turn 1 and turn 2 of Abbey and the farm curve. Braking just after the 100-metre board then for turn 3 at Village, then getting the car over to the right-hand side to open up the space for turn 4 of the loop. Then a tricky traction zone as we accelerate up through the gears. Turn 5 at Aintree Corner, and now we put the DRS on for the first time in this lap as we go down the Wellington Straight. Braking at the 50-metre board then as we go, sliding the car in to turn 6 at Brooklands, and then the late apex of turn 7, the long turn 7 of Luffield, using as much curb on the left-hand side as we accelerate through the slight right of turn 8 here at Woodcote, through the old pit straight when we had the old bridge layout, and then we go through the flat-out turn 9 of Cops Corner, not running too wide there out of the corner, and now going through the famous turns 10, 11 and 12 complex of Maggots, Beckett, and Chapel Corner. And now we accelerate down, DRS for the second time as we go down the hanger straight underneath the game sign there. And now we prepare ourselves for turn 13 of Stowe, a long corner, making sure we get a nice apex there and not running too wide once again on that curb on the left-hand side. And now we brake in between the 150-metre boards for turn 14 of Vale. And now we come through turn 15, Club Corner for the final time. And that completes a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit.
And that was commentated by our PCF2 commentator of All Flattus. This is where we stand for PCF1 as far as the championship is concerned. There they are. David Tenisa does extend his lead against Daniele Haddad, even though he was fourth. He didn't win. You may notice there's no win on the board. That is because Isaac Price, last week's winner, is not a regular driver in this season. If somebody does drop out, I'm sure he'll be parachuted in, and then his win hasn't been discounted per se, but it wasn't scored by a regular league driver. That's why it doesn't appear on the board. So the podiums by Danny and Tim does elevate them up through the field somewhat, but with a number of drivers not here tonight, it could well shake up the field quite significantly. Those that are a big fan of stats, there we are. Still 5 wins in the hand of Tenisa and Haddad, Carrison and Garrett. Having the other wins, of course, with Isaac Price last time out. Isaac is with us as mentioned, so this should be quite interesting. Even though it's a bit of a lighter field, that does not mean that the racing is going to be any less quality, especially if we have the wet weather involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, Tenisa hasn't had even a podium Kodiak in the last 2 rounds, so very unusual from him, considering the first time. The last time that happened was round 1 in Australia, where he got P14. So,
wow.
Apart from that, he's won every single race he's finished. Not attended because he obviously had a DNF in Spain. But So yeah, very surprising he hasn't got a podium. Presumably his pace hasn't just gone because he's still very quick. And Haddad again, he had a DNF last time, so it's not great for Renault in terms of their constructors. This is really the time where the Williams guys really need to try and capitalise and just make the most of the opportunity of the Renault guys. Just not being as quick as they normally would be. We see Tim currently with the fastest lap, but 25.6. Very close behind him is Daniele Haddad, just 69 thousandths behind him, so very close indeed. And Tunisia is not too far behind. You've got a bit of a gap from second to third, but I'm sure that will close up. Railgon was out, but he then came back into the pit. I'm not entirely sure why he did that. Maybe he just wasn't feeling on the tyres. But obviously, a lot of the drivers are qualifying on the soft compound. That's the best race starting tyre, to be honest, as well. The tyre compounds at Silverstone tend to be the harder of the tyre compounds, so we don't see the ultra softs and stuff because they simply wouldn't last long enough. It's 70% full throttle. That's one of the highest of the season. And there's so much stress on the front left tyre. Think about the likes of going through Stowe, Maggots, Beckett's, Cott, Luffield. All of those are very high speed, and even Abbey, the first. They're all very high speed right-handers. It puts a lot of strain onto the tyres, so that you can't run the softer compound. Wycombe's currently on an out lap. He's towards the end. He just came through Chapel onto the hangar straight now. Hopefully he's prepared his lap fairly well. And I think he is. He's a very quick driver, is Wycombe's. He's about 3 tenths down from the current pole time. I wonder if he is going to be able to challenge for the front row this weekend.
Indeed. So, pole time still held by Tim, as we can see, 125.612. It's very, very grey clouds up above. It doesn't mean it will transition over to the race, but we will see. We haven't had an update as to what we can expect weather-wise. We're looking at Wycombe's then, currently sitting in 5th place. He was just dropped down. Matt Sorensen, our Soul Force India, is jumped up to 3rd position with a 125.732. Both the Renaults are with us, of course, Haddad and Tanita. Haddad currently the lead of the pair in 2nd position on 25.68. Wow, that was determined coming through Luffield. That was where I had the good fortune of seeing this year's British Grand Prix, and I must say it was boiling hot. I got quite heavily burnt, but it was an amazing experience nonetheless. Here he comes, and he's come through Copse, through Maggots and Beckett's. There are 3 DRS zones, and oh wow, Williams Timp has actually extended his lead up front with a 25.307. Very nicely done indeed. There's 3 DRS zones, basically every straight except for the one between Woodcote and Copse, the old start-finish straight. All straights are a DRS zone, as long as you're, of course, within the detection zone, within the necessary second of the guy here. Carrison's just jumped up to 2nd, 25.359. Williams Isaac has just jumped up to 3rd. Wow, we're now starting to see them get very close up top. So what's the gap? Look at that, the top 4, including Haddad, the lap he's just done, within a 10th of a second. What did I say?
That is bonkers.
And then it's another 3 tenths. And then Garrix has just jumped up into 5th. Decent effort there. Wow, 1st to 10th, just over half a second between all of them. Nobody needs to kind of improve. He's 1.2. I think it's fair to say he's got some time to find. Chromatic and Railgun yet to get the time on the board for those two, but wow! Did I not say that even though it's a lighter field, the quality of racing may well still be of high standard? And if those gaps are anything to go by, then yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to put it into perspective, if you have like a reaction test on your phone or whatever, the average reaction time from the lights going green to actually, pressing the throttle or tapping your phone is about 2 tenths of a second. So it gives you an idea. That's a 4.
That's 1st to 4th.
That's 1st to 4th. I mean, that's absolutely nuts how close these guys are. Obviously, Isaac, he's a very quick driver. It's very strange not seeing him. You saying Williams Isaac and not seeing him in a who knows? Yeah. Maybe we'll see Tim and Isaac working together, considering they come under the same brolly. So that'd be interesting. It looks like we have who did I just see? Was it Sorensen just coming out of the pit lane, or was he just finished? I'm not entirely sure.
Don't know.
A lot of the drivers are coming in. The likes of Wycombs is in, and so is Photon. Interesting fact about this pit lane: the actual pit lane time is about 40 odd seconds, because it cuts out the last corner, so it cuts out pretty much.
It cuts Abbey out. It reappears at Farm Curve Turn 2.
So it basically it's from like you say, it cuts out and all the way to Farm. And it used to be you could get a quicker lap time from going into the pits. They've changed it now, so you can't. But you used to be able to get a quicker lap time coming to pits. So if in the race you're going for fastest, you just come into the pits on the last lap and you'd actually comes quicker. It's not like that anymore because they've reduced pit speed to about I think it's like 2 miles an hour or something like that. But yeah, it's that's a little bit of an interesting fact for those who don't know that.
Only Tunisia on track, although just saying that Chromatic has just come out onto circuit. There he is, less than 4 minutes to go, so we should start to see. Well, Chromatic's the only one without a time on the board. Up, Freischneider is coming out on track as well. Who's that? Now everyone, as soon as I say that, then everyone streams back out. Isaac Price is representing Haas again this time around. He had a pretty comfortable win last week in Austria, so let's see if he's able to repeat that particular fact. Haddad comes back out. Timp is back out as well, so even he's not just sitting comfortable there. He feels the need to come back out again. No one running anything other than the soft tyres, and I'm not really surprised. But this could also be a bit of a precursor. If it's wet, you may as well use the quick, the fastest, softest rubber now. So that is another thing to bear in mind. As I say, we don't entirely know. I'm just going to double check. It's going to cause a bit of a pause for a second. I'm just going to double check if I haven't had a notification about the weather. In fact, I can see that I haven't, so ignore that. So yeah, several cars coming out. Less than 3 minutes to go now, and here we go again. Let's see how many more cars we can get within the same tenth. We've got the top 4 within a tenth. Then Garrix and Tunisia are within the same tenth. Then Matt Sorensen and the Wycombs within the same tenth. And Photon, Freischneider and Raugon within the same tenth. Just different tenths across the board. So first to 11th, that's separated by just under 6.5 tenths. And that may well condense even further as the final quali laps complete.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see the guys very much condense that down. Railgon's not going to be overly pleased with his lap time. Nobody's not going to be pleased with his lap time. Chromatic still yet to set a time, and he's currently out. I think he's coming down the hangar straight. Really good opportunity to overtake potentially on the inside. No one's going quick at the moment, or going particularly quick at the moment. Haddad's just coming through where he's going through. I think he's come through Village and to the loop at the moment. Really difficult to get that the car nailed on. You need to make sure you have the right weight distribution on the front, so it very much turns the car in, because it's so easy to understeer and, well, basically end up in Aintree if you're not careful.
Yeah, so true.
Go down Wellington straight, and then you've got a really sharp braking for Brooklands into Luffield. Then you've got the high speed, the old start finish straight. Has come from Woodcut, then Copt, Maggots, Beckett, very, very high speed. You've got to, make sure you've got the right gearing and everything just for Maggots and Beckett's, otherwise you can make a right meal of it, and you have to be on the right line. Daniele Haddad's doing not a brilliant job. It wasn't a great lap anyway, but may very well be his qualifying over. He already tried to say, well, this is his fast lap, so his tyre wear is going to be considerably less than it was the lap before. Let's see if anyone else can improve. Garrix is coming across the line, and he hasn't improved actually. It was still a 25, but it was a 25.6, and he did not improve on the lap time. Tunisia's coming across the line. Has he improved? No, sorry, he's just came across the line to start his lap. So let's see if he can improve on his side.
Let's follow him through then. So he's down to third for Village, and he's going to come over to the right-hand side to get as decent a line through the loop as he can. Now, hard on the gas, sweeps through Aintree. Of course, that isn't the drive. If it gets very wet out there, then they will not be flat through there. Oh, Carrington!
Got the pole time. He's got a 25.236. He's ahead of Tim by 71 thousandths of a second. Good job from him.
Nicely done. Following Tunisia then through Luffield, then keeps it on the black stuff just about through Woodcote then as the yellow flags come out again, and Carey retired his car straight away. The checker flag is out, so now as Chromatic actually jumped up to 5th briefly and then was demoted by Wycoms. So 25.5 for Chromatic and 25.510 for Wycoms. Still following Tunisia through. He's come through Mackens and Beckett's. Now through Chapel onto the Hanger Straight. Can't quite see who that is ahead of him under the game sign. And then over to the left-hand side for Stowe. Down a couple of gears. Just let the car wander over, do its thing, keep it controlled. And
particularly spectacular though by Tunisia. Kodiak, he was a 10th down in the first sector and a 10th up in the second sector. He's pretty much level. What's he got to do going around the last couple of corners? It's mediocre at best, and he hasn't improved. He's not going to be pleased with P8.
Oh, Isaac did to 0.004 of a second off the top spot. Oh, 125, 240 for the house.
Matt Sorensen, he's just jumped a bunch of positions.
Yeah,
he's
6th.
6. Good job from him.
Oh, Tim has just got the fastest lap again.
Oh, Tim's on top as well. 25.15 at 8. That puts Carrot on 700, well, almost 800 down.
Wow.
And that's a very good job from the 2 Williams drivers. That puts them 1st and 2nd, and they need this. Do you know what I was saying about Williams guys need to capitalise on the Renaults, and that's what they're doing at the moment. So, it's your pole sitter, Tim, with a 25.158. Good job from him. Caraton, who was looking very good for pole for the majority of that, the last couple of minutes, he's not quite able to get just a little bit behind. Isaac in 3rd place, still under a 10th between the top 3, very close indeed. Daniele Haddad, the first of the Renaults, a poor performance really by Haddad. He would have hoped for a little bit more. Garrix, the first of the Hungarians in P5 and P6. We have Matt Sorensen. In P7, we have Wycomb's 8th Chromatic. In 9th, David Torniza. In 10th, Frey Schneider. In 11th, Photon. 12th for Railgon. Nobody in P13, and I think he'd be slightly disappointed. He's in a bit nowhere really. He's 7/10 off Railgon, his teammate. So he's one to hopefully maybe he's looking at a race strategy. Yeah, who knows?
That looks very dry to me. So, or at least a dry start, if nothing else. So we will see if that actually continues to be the case as the race progresses, which isn't a guarantee, of course. We will see if they are able to maintain their pace, or if the rain comes later on. Again, the drivers will know this. We don't up at the commentary box. We will see if they are able to translate their qualifying position. And what an amazing qualifying performance from our drivers there. We're just waiting for the drivers then to load in their setups, make any last minute alterations, and then we will be down to the formation lap. And they should be getting away. There they go. So let's have a look at, I'll just bring up the thing I need, pit strategies. So if they are starting on the softs, which pretty much everybody is, well, let's just check on the guys at the back. Let's see what they started with. 2 of them. So Photon and Nobody started on the medium tyres. So they will be stopping around 16 to 18 if they're going for a one-stop strategy, which we expect everybody to. And the soft runners will be coming in between laps 7 and 9 to get shot of those soft tyres and get on the mediums. So don't discount the Ferrari and second Toro Rosso. They may well come good later on with, of course, the softer rubber on their cars. So we will see, and with how close the top guys are, it wouldn't be too much to expect just one little mistake to really shuffle up the order somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not surprised Nobody and Photon decided to do that. Photon's in a pretty good position, but in P11, you get, you're just outside the top 10. You get free choice of tyres. Obviously, everyone within the top 10, whatever qualifying, so the minimum amount of laps they've done on those tyres is 3 laps. So they're all 3 laps sold. So like Railcon, Nobody, and Photon, having such a reduced grid this time, the opportunity for points is very high. In theory, they should be able to go 3 or 4 laps further than everyone else. Remember, in qualifying, your tyres are under a lot more pressure as well, more wear. Tim, and it looks like Caraton sort of drove into his team. trying to swap for the lead, but
Well, doing any good.
Trying to condense the grid up. I have to say, Isaac isn't in a hurry to catch up with two.
He's not really, is he? He's 3 seconds down.
Very smart. You got Wycombs and Mad Sorensen sort of doing things. And you know, you've got the likes of Railgun and Nobody just coming up the rear. In fact, Nobody's quite a long way behind. Very shortly, the lights are going to go out.
And that apparently was Tino Nogarina's first ever pole. Well done, congratulations.
Oh, good job from him.
Great effort there, Tino. Right, without further ado, here we go then. Here come the 5 lights. We all know the procedure. It's time to wind them up and let them... Wait for it, a long old hold, and here we go then. The Williams get a decent start then. Tino comes across to cut off Carrington, and what a stunning start yet again by Isaac Price. He's already usurped one of the Williams. That's a problem, I think, for Chromatic. He's having a battle now down in 8th position, very side by side coming through Village, as you would imagine. Look at Isaac, he's wanting to get on with that and get up towards the lead. That is what it looks like from the already demoted Avera Carrington. He's jumping to the inside already to defend against the Renault. Although, actually, the Renault went for the normal racing line. There we saw Chromatic making a dive on the inside of Garrix. Wow, that's the Renault of Haddo, pushed a little bit wide by Carrington. And that's Garrix getting a very wide line through Luffield. Looks like everybody has survived so far. A few position changes, but so far so good. No one's lost any carbon fibre that we can see. And there is Haddad and Matt Sorensen side by side. And there's Garrix ready to capitalise on any kind of mistake. Chromatic under a lot of pressure by Wycombs. Wow, what a great start from all our drivers.
Yeah, absolutely, very clean. Just what we want to see come through. Maggots and Beckett's now. We're going to have a potentially down a hanger straight. Is Sorensen going to have a look at Daniele Haddad? He's also going to be under pressure from behind as well. And it looks like so far nothing major to report in terms of slipstream, although with the dirty air will affect the drivers rounds. So sometimes we might see some overtaking here into 16 and 17 as well. Not at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that is going to happen. Very clean from all the drivers. Tim obviously getting the fastest lap, the line first, so good job from him. Railgun his... oh no, it doesn't matter. Timings were a bit off. It said he was 13 seconds behind. But
I saw that as well.
That's just my computer being strange. But look how close they are, Cody. I mean, you could barely put a pencil in between each car.
Tonisa is really struggling. He's down there in 9th now. So let's just bring up the... well, that's actually where he started, but he hasn't... Oh!
Tonisa on Wycombs. A little bit of contact from the Renault. I don't think any wing damage or anything. But that was very close indeed.
Look at Preschneider, though.
Doesn't get puncher from that.
Yeah.
Preschneider he is very close behind David Tonisa in the Renault. Is he going to move? He's got a good exit, but it's not quite good enough. Tonisa has the same advantages and disadvantages of Ray Schneider. He's going to be quicker on the straights because of the slipstream and slower in the corners because of the dirty air.
Oh, someone kicked up a fair bit of dust then. Does look like... Look at Timp, though. He's got himself 7 10s up front, so with the initial charge we saw from Isaac, I really did think he was going to be pressuring for the lead very, very quickly. He's now falling into the clutches of Carrington, so Tim does look like he's really at ease and doing very well here at the moment. It's a long way to go, though. Of course, DRS is going to be available to our guys very soon, and no sooner do I say that, actually, that Isaac Price then gets the fastest lap. So the two Williams Esports drivers are running 1 and 2 at the moment. As that's an interesting camera then from Daniele Haddad. Everyone except for Railgon. Railgon's made a mistake. He's now a couple of seconds behind the pack. So everyone bar the second Toro Rosso is going to have DRS when it becomes available to them. So that's something else that... and there it goes. This is the first opportunity down the Wellington Straight. Of course, every car will have it, therefore it nullifies the effect for them all, except for Timp, of course. So has just got to bear in mind that he's got a charging Haas right behind him. And that's the view from Carrington, who's going to try and attack the Haas driver running ahead of him. But he can't ignore the fact that Daniele Haddad is directly behind. Oh, this is exceedingly tense. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. All the drivers are very, very close indeed. The only driver outside a 10th, outside a second of guy is Railgun, who's got himself a penalty. One thing I did is Carré went very well through Stowe. On the exit of Stowe, it's very easy to mess up. That's towards Vale. So he's got to be really careful that he doesn't pick up a penalty because it's so easy to do. It looks like he's going to keep it a little... Well, no, again, he just needs to be careful because I'm pretty sure he will get a warning. If not, potentially, one of the drivers might look at taking him to the stew. He continues to do that because I know, especially, you know, when you're out the front, any advantage you can get, you very much grab it with both hands. And, you know, this really, the entire grid, but the top 4 are very, very close at the moment. Well, top 5 are, you know, the close. If you look at Garrick's point of view, you can see how close it is now. Haddad went a little bit wide. He's going to get a good exit. Is it going to be enough to take down the Wellington straight? He's got the DRS, but so far he's not making any major gains. And Isaac is very much closed onto the back of Tim as far as Isaac. I'd probably try a bit of a switch, maybe go wide into left field, then cut across to Woodcote, and then try and get a good exit down to Cops and maybe challenge into Maggots.
Here comes Haddad then as they've come out of Woodcote. He's right close under the third esports driver. I'd actually forgotten to mention that Carrington is also in the Williams esports program. So the top 3 all trooping the Williams colours very, very well at the moment. But Daniele Haddad is looking to really upset that party at the moment as Isaac Price just tips onto the grass slightly on the exit of Chapel. Now streaming on down the hangar straight. And Tim was under a fair bit of pressure, but I think with that one mistake from Isaac Price has now just backed him off from Tim and actually more into the clutches of Carrington. And Haddad is really looming to try and capitalise. But on board with Haddad, I'm looking at the sky. There's quite a few dark clouds up there. Might we see rain towards the tail end of this race?
Sorry, Cody, we're going to have Chromatic is right on the back of Garrick. Come through Abbey. Very, very close. He almost made a move. Is he going to chuck one up the inside? No, he isn't. He's going to stay right on the back of Mercedes. Oh, and he's gone down the inside. Is there going to be any contact? No, there isn't. So still side by side. He just hasn't got the exit he wanted. He's going to get the DRS going a little bit wide now down the Wellington straight. Both of them with DRS. Is he going to take the DRS out? No, he's not. Round the outside. He's going to get a good exit, but somewhat of a switchback. This is what I said I thought Isaac should do to Tim, and he's just caught the back of the Merc. He's pushed him a bit wide. That's very naughty by Chromatic. Will he give position back to Garrix? I'm not sure. It looked like there could have been lag involved in that. However, saying that, Wycombs has gone on the inside of Garrix as well, and he's got a position in the Red Bull. Next up for Wycombs, the McLaren of Chromatic.
And Tunisia has gone past Garrix as well before they get through Magnussen and Beckett. Wow, it's all gone horribly wrong due to that one touch. But it did look like Garrix was a bit laggy there, so I would wonder whether that played a bit of a part in that impact. Unfortunately, it does happen. One driver, on one screen it makes contact, on the other one it doesn't. We'll see if there's a steward's inquiry post-race on that one. But that's put Garrix down into 9th position now. Just look up front. That's Matt Sorensen up to leader. Is still very heavily condensed. Chromatic is the only one in this pack that doesn't have DRS at the moment. Well, there's only 3 cars on track that don't. Just Chromatic, Photon and Railgun. So it's gone horribly wrong for Railgun, as we mentioned earlier. So still very, very tight towards the front end. DRS really helping to keep the pack in. Wow, Haddad had to take a bit of an unusual line. It looked like he was about to pile into the back of Carrington, but look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All within half a second of the car in front. But Matt Sorensen doesn't have to defend from anybody, so he could well play a part in that. Look how close the Haas of Isaac Price is on the back of Tim. We could well see, as I thought we was going to see a little bit earlier, a challenge for the lead. But Tim seems to be able to get the power down, enough to keep the Haas behind. But we'll see.
Haddad's going to have a look on Carrington. He is potentially round the outside. Not quite.
Not quite.
Very, very close. Is he going to have a look into Maggots and Beckett's? There's now a small gap between Carrington and Isaac. It's going to definitely be an advantage to Haddad. As long as he can get a good run through Maggots and Beckett's, he's going to have a good run. And Chromatic has gained himself 3 seconds. So has Railgun, for that matter, who we saw earlier. Down the hangar straight, and so far, no over within this top 5 group.
Prey Schneider, he's side by side with Garrix coming into Stowe. That's still going. The Mercedes is now going to have the inside line coming up into Vale. But Schneider's managed to nose ahead in the Sauber. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. Very nice move then by the Sauber to move up into 9th place. He hasn't got far to go to get Tunisia, but he is out of DRS range, and he has got that charging Mercedes to defend against as well. So he hasn't got it all his own way yet. But again, I don't want to look away from this top battle. Look at this. It's been a while since we've had 5 cars all battling. We're on lap 7 now, and they still haven't separated. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see the quality of driving we are today. Even like we said, we've got a reduced grid, but it's still great to see how close we are. Look how close Isaac is to. This is where he really needs to start looking at Tim's weaknesses. Now, potentially, being in the same team, they have a good idea on what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. So are they both using that to their advantages to try and, they kind of cancel each other out? Potentially when you have drivers from other teams, if you had Brendan Lee and Tim, for example, they wouldn't be as sure on the other drivers' strengths and weaknesses. Whereas these guys should know each other inside out, considering they work together on a weekly or day-by-day basis. Railgon getting himself another penalty. Just needs to be careful, because he's still got a good chance of points as long as he just keeps it clean. You don't know who else is going to get penalties in front. And this top 5 is still very, very close. There's a very small marginal gap between Haddad and Karaton, but we're talking, an extra half tenth or something.
Garrix is in. He's decided now's the time, and exactly as the pit strategy was saying, around about this point is when the soft starters will think about coming in, and we may well be damage on that Mercedes as well following that earlier impact. So he's the first to jump onto his mediums. Of course, the 2 medium runners, Photon and Nobody, started on their tyres. So we would expect to see really a flurry of pit stops going on in the next few laps. Here comes Isaac Price, though. Oh, he didn't go for the move. I wondered whether he was going to try and throw that on the inside of Brooklands. Opted not to. Yeah, sensible driving then from the Haas, or for the Haas stand-in, I should say. Of course, he's got the Williams tag on. We already have 2 Williams on the field, so he couldn't occupy a Williams car. So,
waiting for the hanger straight, to be honest, Kodiak, because after the hanger straight, he's got no DRS assistance until the Wellington straight. So, and then you've obviously got turn 3 to 5 to try and extend your to make sure that the other driver can't overtake you, and it is difficult to overtake on the Wellington straight anyway. So is he close enough to try and move? DRS open for driver, getting closer, not close enough, coming through Stowe, and he's not able to capitalise, and it's Tim is coming into a pit, presumably onto the median for a one-stop strategy. This is what Isaac really needs to do. What Schumacher used to do is absolutely cane it for a lap, come in next lap, and potentially get the overcut.
So we've had Tim, Haddad, Mad Sorensen, and Chromatic all come in on that occasion. Oh, Railgun again. His day's getting worse and worse. Another penalty for the Toro Rosso runner. So that won't be making him any happy. He's, of course, incurring that one for his pit stop. Isaac Price, we would assume, or Isaac Carrington, Wycomb's
sorry, you had Tornisa, Freischneider on the inside of Tornisa for people. A very clean move there by the Sauber driver, and I don't think the Renault has an answer. And so far, the Renaults aren't looking particularly strong. However, Haddad is right behind Williams, and he has made a pit.
Yeah, indeed. So it's going to be how well Isaac Price. Bear in mind, he doesn't have DRS. He hasn't had that. Wow, Tim is in a hurry to get those tyres up to temperature, weaving down the Wellington straight. He shouldn't be penalised for that, as Haddad was not in an overtaking position. You cannot do that if you're trying to defend from someone, but it was quite Haddad was not in a position to attack, so should be fine with that. But Tim is wanting to get those tyres up to speed in a hurry. But it's going to be where Isaac Price slots in, because he hasn't had DRS, he has done for the last few laps, to help with his last lap time. Is Isaac Price coming in this time? He does.
What tyre is he going on to, and how quickly will he be able to change? Now, Tim is quite considerable way behind. It's going to be so close coming out of this pit. It's a very long pit lane. It's 37 seconds. So it does feel like an absolute age when you're only travelling at, sub 40 miles an hour. And he's had to wait. He's been held up by one of the. I couldn't see which car it was, but he.
Oh, impact! We've got impact between. Oh, there may have been a bit of decent going on between Haddad. Carrot. No, I was right first time. Between Tim and Haddad, as Tim didn't seem to suffer any from that impact. Is that. Where did Isaac Price come out? He does indeed come out ahead of the Williams pair. So even though it was held...
Carroton, and it looks like Haddad's trying to move on the inside of Tim. That's very, very... I'm not sure that might be...
There's a bit of decent going on there, unfortunately, so we won't look at that too much because, again, we don't know exactly...
Possibly overtaking Carroton and something's looking strange.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of bound together. So, as I say, we won't look at that particular battle too much because we don't know where both of them are in relation to each other. Carroton, though, is right behind them, but it does look like Haddad has managed to get ahead of Tim. So the Renault really now coming strong, and again, it could be just he's better on the medium tyres, but Isaac Price has done the pair of them. He is up to 4th, and again, if he does what he did last time, he will just run off into the distance, as Wycombs is the last man to come in from the soft runners. That will hand the lead over to Photon. Timp and Haddad still in that battle, now down the hangar straight coming towards Stowe. The Williams back ahead of the Renault. But here goes the Renault again coming through the inside of Stowe. So we'll see then if he is able to capitalise on that. Where will Wycombs come out as well? He's out of his pit box. We'll see if he's able to jump. Because he was out, he stayed on those laps on other tyres. Where is he? We'll see him.
I think he's going to do pretty well, Kodiak. I must admit, Haddad's weird for faster that Wycombs dropping. Although I think he's going to be in a strong position. He's now coming out in what P8,
so Matt Sorensen managed to jump him as well. So that didn't.
Interesting how some of the drivers like Isaac was able to an overcut. However, the Wycombs, it didn't work for him.
No.
So obviously Isaac got pitted in on the perfect lap. Lap 9 seemed to be the right lap to pit. So good job from him. Nobody in Photon are still yet to pit. Both of those on the medium tyres, though, remember.
Yeah, they started on those medium tyres as the Renault...
Don't expect them to come in anytime soon, potentially holding up some of the leaders as they close in. I mean, look how close it is. You've got Tim just half a second behind Isaac, and then you've got... Haddad just... Well, it's so close you can't even, You couldn't put another car, although they would get a bit of decent. It's quite a little bit off-putting. Hopefully, they are keeping it clean, though, I'm sure. So, but yeah, again, they're very close indeed.
Yeah, but they're gaining on Isaac Price, though, as it does look like Haddad in the Renault has managed to come past the Williams. I'm trying my best not to look at it. It's a little bit difficult to because they are still quite condensed, but they are within DRS range of Isaac Price. So the Haas driver, he's going to come under pressure very, very soon. And Carey is not close enough. He's 1.5 seconds behind him. Although saying that, he's the one that's just got the fastest lap on the board. So he may be out of DRS range at the moment, but at that pace, he will be back with them very, very soon. Matt Sorensen is there as well. So Matt Sorensen is just outside of DRS range, actually off the back of Carrington. And Chromatic is only a couple of seconds behind him. We've lost Railgun. That's a shame, but kind of expected really with how badly his race has gone. Wycombs on the back of the McLaren. The Red Bull has got the DRS open, doesn't make a move yet, and nobody gets his name on the penalty board. So he's currently running in second, but the top two yet to pit. The only people not to pit, Tanita down in 12th. Oh no, he's in the three-way battle with Preschneider and Garrix. But yeah, that's gone horribly wrong for the championship leader.
Yeah, very... one person I'm really disappointed is Garrix. He's lost the most positions of everyone so far. He's down 5 positions of where he started. He was doing really well earlier. And for whatever reason, he just hasn't had the race pace. He's 3 seconds behind Wycombe. Schneider is looking very quick and potentially closing in and catching him up. In fact, Schneider actually, with DRS, down the hangar straight out at the moment. Is he going to try anything into Stowe? I wouldn't have thought so, although he may very well try something into Vale or Club. Well, Vale that leads into Club. No, he hasn't. But again, Garrix is not looking particularly quick. The 2 Williams got disappointed at the moment. Tim having a look at Haddad. Potentially this decent might have not gone. I was hoping it had gone for a second. But again, I think they're still neck and neck. DRS Tim possibly trying a move around the outside of Haddad. You can't separate this Williams and Renault driver, and it looks like Haddad's just going to stay in front of the Williams driver. All this battling definitely helps Isaac as well to be able to pull a gap. And in fact, I've been impressed with Photon's pace as well. They're closing in on nobody, although Photon's been able to, keep a pretty decent, in fact, gaining from nobody. I'm pretty sure it was about 3 seconds a few laps ago, Kodiak. It's now 5 seconds. And Isaac 15 behind nobody. So that's, close enough to 20 Photon has. From Isaac to from Isaac, so it's a good job so far. Haddad is very close to Isaac as well. I wonder if he's going to try a move. He surely will do sooner or later. Not able to make anything at the moment, but maybe next lap.
Yeah, that top three very, very closely condensed now. The Renault really piling the pressure onto the house. There's the DRS again for the top two. Well, this is the essentially the race lead going on here. I'm expecting Photon and Nobody to be in within the next 3 to 5 laps. So we will see then if it's interesting considering how well that Isaac Price was just able to get into the lead and run off last week. He doesn't seem to have that kind of dominating pace this time. Whether it's just a case of he's more familiar with Austria, or most British drivers know Silverstone pretty well.
Isaac, I know, is very quick round Silverstone. Although it's very commanding how he got into the lead. He very much muscled his way through. He's kind of put the other drivers in a position which
Preishnader spun. Sorry, Hamish. Preishnader has spun. He's now down to 12th. Where's he done that? He's done that at Brooklands. So, yeah, that battle he was in with Tenisa and Garrix has now just dropped him completely out of that. That's a bit of a shame. Wycombe's still on the back of Chromatic as well. But, yeah, all eyes at the moment on this essential lead battle between Price, Haddad and Timp.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Haddad going to have a look at Isaac? It's very, very close, but not quite close. And I'm hoping this desync between the Williams and Renault has gone, because it looks like he's able to get much closer, is Timp, than he has done before. Pretty much pushing the Renault through club. Not that the Renault needs any more speed, because he's going quick anyway. But now he's got Timp pushing him around as well. He's going to go double speed. Isaac is, like I said, he muscled his way into the lead, but he hasn't. Maybe he's just trying to conserve his tyres or something, Kodiak. Trying to make sure they're better towards the end. Although he did come in after Timp and Haddad, I believe, anyway. So he's, his tyre is going to be slightly better at the end of the race, as long as it's, he keeps at an even rate to the other guy.
And Carey is gaining on them slowly but surely, lap on lap. That gap between Timp and Carrington has been dropping so very slowly. It was at 1.5 seconds post pit stops. It's now right on that 1 second mark, ever so slightly over. But as you can see, the Williams and the Renault still very, very close. Due to the desync, we don't know which is ahead of who at the moment. It's showing that Williams Timp is ahead of Haddad, but we'll see when that has played out. Looks like they're side by side. They'll be very brave going side by side through Mackens and Beckers. We're pretty sure they aren't actually doing that, but Haddad is still ahead of the Williams, but Isaac Price still has not been able to capitalise on it. He's only 4 tenths ahead, as Nobody comes in from second position now. So that is going to, well, it doesn't really make a difference to this top three. It just gives them a position. It'll be interesting to see where Nobody comes out. He's going to have 10 laps to do on the soft tyres, so that's right bang on to where our prediction lies. As again, the Williams and the Renault continue their battle. But what's the gap from Carrington to Timp? Has Timp managed to overhaul the Renault? They're still very, very close, as you can see, but it does look like that Carrington now is within DRS range of this pack. So,
and he's going to get it as well, Kodiak. Yeah. So good job from potentially Carrington. In Matt Williams is going to, really be battling, and what he wants to do is overtake Haddad. But Williams finish ahead of that. Is it the leading? Well, it's not even the leading Renault. He's had a pretty dreadful. He's just had an awful weekend. Qualifying wasn't great. He qualified in P9 and he's still P9. Even with the misfortunes of the likes of Garrix, he hasn't been able to capitalise But then you had, although Photon's yet to pit, so he may gain a position. I mean, look how close this whole pack is. You know, you have a couple of 2 seconds gap, and everyone else is within a second. So it's very indeed. Carey is going to have some more DRS, and that's going to help him close. It was about a second last time. He's been able to gain about a 1/10 and a half on the guys ahead. So he's so far so good for the second Williams driver.
Staying right in contention then. Again, if it does all go wrong with the top guys, Carrington is right there to capitalise on it. Chromatic and Wycombs have been involved in a very strong scrap for 7th position. Wycombs ahead was Chromatic post pit stop, but the Red Bull has gotten ahead of the McLaren, as you can see. And also between Gerrits and Tanita, as we know, Preschnader was involved in that battle before his spin a few laps ago. So there is still battling up and down the field. Photon is still not coming the pits. He's coming around left field now. But he's right in the pit window for those medium tyres. So he's going to be in within the next few, I would imagine. I just think nobody may have made that pit stop a tad early, but we'll see how well he's able to maintain those soft tyres. The car's a bit lighter now, so he may well be able to stretch those to the end. But this battle up front is absolutely fascinating. It's going to get bigger when Carrington, as we know, he's in the DRS range. He's going to get right in the middle of that scrap before too long. And if it doesn't all go wrong between Haddad and Timp, then this battle is gonna. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see this to the flag.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to predict who is going to be on the podium at the moment. I can't even predict which 3 drivers might be on the podium, let alone the order. So this is very exciting indeed. Obviously, we have Carrington, who's gaining lap by lap. They're closing in on Photon now. Photon's surely going to pit fairly soon, although he's been very far on those medium compound tyres. I'm impressed with how long he's been able to go on both. So good job from him. And it's very difficult to tell, as you can hear the Chromatic with the fastest lap.
Yeah, he did a brilliant outside manoeuvre on Wycombs actually at Stowe. Just caught the end of that.
Is that battle we heard your
that was the U for? Yeah, that was what the U was for.
Oh, there we go. So Chromatic can get Kodiak excited when he does the right things. This battle at front is just so close. It's I really can't call it. And again, it's difficult to see with the the desync issues between the two cars. Carrington is seemingly just hovering around about 0.6 of a second now. Kodiak, he's not closing in, but he's not losing any time either. Maybe he's just trying to conserve the tires, because obviously the closer you get to the car ahead, the more you are in the dirty air and the hotter your tires get, the quicker they wear. So there is a logistical reason on why he'd want to hold back just a little bit. Isaac is surely he's going to have the best tires out of all these guys. He's got no dirty air. He's not in any battle, and he came in last. So his tires surely got to be, he can't be pushing 100% at the moment. I don't.
So I'm also looking at the ERS battery. There's something else that we commented on last week as Photon finally brings his Ferrari into the pits. So Isaac is around about the 75% mark. Haddad's used next to none. He's over 90%. Tim's not too far off that, in the 80s, but Carrington is in the 30s. He's used a lot of ERS in relation to those around him. Where is Photon going to reappear? He's gone through the pits, as you can see. He's now on the soft tyres. Is he going to reappear around about 10th? He does. He jumps ahead, and there's Preschnader. So he's managed to get into 10th position then with the soft rubber and with enough laps to capitalise on it. So expect some decent laps coming in from the Ferrari of Photon. He's got 5 seconds to gain to Gerrits before he's got another couple of positions to challenge for, but much softer, much younger rubber. And there's nobody, the other soft runner. Oh, wow. Trying to do an inside move on Preschnader coming into Brooklands. Wow, that was bullish. But again, I'm wanting to keep my eye on this effectively, or what is now the lead battle with the final pit stop taking place. So it is absolutely rich. It's just such a shame we do have that desync going on, so we can't entirely tell where Timp and Haddad are in relation to one another. We just know they're very, very close. But again, Isaac Price just has not been able to break away. He's really under pressure as they come through Stowe again.
Yes, I'm surprised Haddad has hasn't made a move on Isaac, to be honest. I would have thought he'd be a bit more aggressive, although with the desync, we're not entirely sure how, how Timp is affecting that as well. Carroton's actually gained himself a 10th as well, so he's putting himself more into the... Going to have a DRS. Is anyone going to try and move down the hangar... not hangar straight.
Wellington Straight.
Wellington Straight, that's it. I get it right eventually. There's 3 straight, and I can't get any of them right, it seems. So no DRS moves at the moment, although they're within it. The top 3 are within a second, Kodiak, which is no, top 4. Sorry, within a
top
second.
4, yeah.
No.
Yeah, top 4, all 3 of which are Williams esports drivers. So that goes. I mean, that goes to show something for the Williams esports program, but also for Haddad, who's mixing it up pretty damn well, right in that mixture as well in the Renault. So I mean, we know how good all of these drivers are. Even those that are struggling a bit in this tier this season, these are all amazing drivers. Let's not forget. So it's amazing to see how well they can battle on as the laps continue to count down. We're already 7 laps from the end as... Haddad!
On Isaac, Cody.
He did. I was just looking at that, thinking I'm sure there wasn't a yellow slash on the top spot a minute ago. So Daniele Haddad, before they even got through Stowe, has actually got the lead. So whether that was a mistake from Isaac Price or just an absolute stunning move from the Renault, Daniele Haddad now leads the way, but he's got three representatives of Williams hot on his tail. It's not going to be easy pickings for him. We've got 6 laps to go. Photon, as I thought he might, has got the fastest lap on the board. He's chasing after Garrix and Tanita. So there's still a lot of battling going on, and actually right behind them, 5, 6 and 7 is Matt Sorensen Chromatic, who's got some penalties on the board unfortunately, and Wycombs, our hot lap setter, are in a battle as well. So the field may have dispersed a bit, but it's still amazing battling.
Yeah, absolutely. There's all the important battles are all very indeed. You've got this top 4, which are all in contention for the lead, and then you pretty much got the top 5, and you're still going to get 10 points if you finish in P5. So it's still very much worth it trying to get that extra, couple of points for you gained. Isaac is going to try and go as fast as he can and catch up with Haddad. I have a feeling he has slightly better tyres, only because of the battling with the other Williams driver, and he's so close to trying through Stowe, but not able to make it work. Is he going to try something into Vale? I doubt it.
Chromatic again with an outside move. Sorry, I did cut you off, Hamish. I know we're forever doing that. Wow. But Chromatic again with an outside manoeuvre at Stowe. That seems to be his favourite overtaking spot. He nailed the Force India of Matt Sorensen. Wycombs is waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces. But yeah, again, a stunning move. It's a shame that Chromatic's got those penalties on the board.
9 seconds of them, Kodiak. So he's going to be... he's going to go all the way down to 8 or 9 at the moment.
Ouch.
Probably 9. So
although Garrix has just got a penalty.
Maybe down to P10.
Well, Garrix is just giving himself a penalty, so that'll help Chromatic's case. But what a shame for Chromatic, as he's in this stage of the race, he's having an absolute stunner.
Have a look at the speed battle. It's very close indeed. Timp is right on the back of the Renault, pretty much pushing Haddad behind him. In fact, that means Haddad it's obviously been overtaken by Alex.
Yeah.
It just came to my realization as they come through Cox, not able to make anything work through Maggots and Beckett's. Are they going to be sideways? Very hard to tell, and it looks like actually potentially Tim has that position. Maybe not. I think they were side by side, although I think they sorted it out on exit. Haddad now with the DRS. Isaac with no DRS. Is he going to have a look maybe on the inside or the outside of Stowe? No, he isn't. It looks like the Williams, not the Williams, the Haas of Isaac is going to stay in P1 at the moment.
Driver of the Day vote is now open. The link is in the chat, and it's going to be really hard to call, as again the Williams of Timp and the Renault of Haddad continue their battle. Isaac Price once again resuming that lead. Carrington there to pick up the pieces if it does all go horribly wrong. The desync does not appear like this to the drivers, I will add, so they will know where they are. Oh, is that Haddad? No, that's not Haddad spinning. That was, of course, the connection issue between them. Oh, well, that's again a lot of fighting going on, but Timp does seem to have overhauled the Renault back up into third. So will Carrington be able to demote the Renault, or
He's going to have a move. He's going to have a go, Kodiak, on the inside of Isaac. He hasn't made anything work. There, is he going to try something into left field? Maybe get a bit of a switchback, but he's going to be careful with the drivers behind. The likes of Hanad and Carrington still very much in contention for the win and the podium. And this battling allows Isaac just to gain a tiny bit of extra time to open that gap. He needs every single half tenth he can tip still in P2 as they come through Maggots and Beckett's.
Absolutely. This is going to go on and on and on to the flag. It's Isaac Price, as much as he's amazing driver to get back into the lead once again, just has not been able to break free. Is this his opportunity now to try and get a run on these guys? There you just saw in the background of the shot, Chromatic, Matt Sorensen and Wycombs, they're still in their battle. Tunisia and Garrick still fight on for 8th position, although Garrick is on the penalty board as well. So jump on board with Carrington as he continues to chase this pack. Haddad back up into second again in the Renault. Obviously, with the issues we've got, we're not 100% sure where that move happened. But it's still presses on. Oh, what's happened to Wycombs? Is Wycombs in trouble? No, there was a bit of battling going on. I think Garrick's may have had a bit of an issue. Or no, there was a yellow flag out and I was trying to chase who it was. But never mind, the battles are still raging on. And we only have... Wow, this race has flown by. 3 laps remain.
Yeah, there must have been some issue, because obviously Photon was just battling Tunisia and Garrix, but now Wycombs is there, so he must have had a spin or something like that. He definitely hasn't came through the pit. Well, he wasn't that much further ahead of Tunisia anyway, but Tunisia is driving quickly. It's just 3.5 seconds now to Sorensen. It was about 5 a couple of laps ago, so he's doing a good job. I'm just wondering if Haddad's going to have a look at Isaac soon. In fact, I think even Tim might have made a move on the Renault driver because he seems in front again.
Yeah, that was on the run up to Maggots, so of course it doesn't quite represent for us, but that's where Tim has gone back up into second. That was on the run from Cops down to Maggots. Very brave move to do. Here we go again, coming up to Stowe. Are these positions going to shuffle around again? Will the Renault of Haddad dive through on the inside? Will the Williams be able to string it along the outside of Stowe? We've seen Chromatic do that a few times. And into Vale they come. It does look like they're still side by side. They're still swapping positions. Has Haddad managed to do it? Again, it's difficult to tell. It literally side by side. And I think Haddad has nosed back up into that second position. Or has he? Williams is just nosing ahead again. No, it looks like Haddad's going to have the inside coming through Village. Now into the loop and into Aintree again. And it is indeed that Williams of Tim has come back up into second. But Isaac Price is still only 3/10 ahead of them, so he still hasn't been able to break away. And under DRS, they really... Oh, wow, Tim was a bit wide coming through Brooklands. That's going to give Haddad an opportunity to come back at him. Oh, such a shame we've got this connection issue, because what an amazing battle this would be. Well, it still is an amazing battle, it just doesn't quite represent itself right. But here we go then on the penultimate lap. It is Isaac Price's race to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a dreadful feeling as a driver if you lose the lead at this late stage in the race. But Tim is so close to Isaac in the Haas. It's so difficult not to say Williams. Right down the hangar straight. DRS open. Surely not Tim on the inside. Getting the move done. That is move done. Isaac is in P2. They're now separated. It's how it was a few laps ago, and it's how it is now. Tim, then Daniele Haddad. What's going to happen on this final lap? All of them will be gunning for the win.
Absolutely, and they've all got the ability, the fuel, and the tyres to do it. Here we go then, final lap. I may as well stay on board with Carrington. He's got such a great ringside seat for this. There may well be other battles going on, but they have pretty much dispersed now as Williams Tim is back into the lead. I think it was last season Tim went for a long stint in the final close of the race and had a puncture on the exit of Beckett's in the final lap. I think it was either last season or the season before where that happened to Tim, and that denied him a pretty decent result for the Williams driver. So he's looking to kind of get rid of that particular memory, I'm sure, and he's in the prime position to do it. Now leads 3/10 between himself and Isaac Price, just under 4/10 between Price and Haddad. Half a second is Carrington, so barely even a second for the top 4, 1.1 seconds indeed for the top 4, and it's been that way since the pit stop. So over half the race These four have been in really, really close combat. Who is going to win this one? It's impossible to tell, although Tino does seem to be breaking out a little bit of a gap between himself and Price. This may be the gap he needs.
Absolutely, it is Price. Got to have a look on the inside of Stowe, maybe the exit, maybe into Vale, maybe into Club. He's got literally 2 corners to make a move. He's got to try something down the inside very late. Ferrero of Haddad to get a switch back, and Haddad's going to get a decent exit. Carrington's got a good exit as well. They all come across the line. Timp in P1, Isaac in P2, Carrington in P3, Chromatic and Mad Sorensen in very close company as well. Wycombs has been able to overtake Tornisa up into P7. Good job from him. Chromatic falling down the grid. Garrick's in P8. Photon in P9. Good job from him. Nice alternate strategy. Frey Schneider in P10. And that means Chromatic got knocked out of the points for those penalties. That's going to be the quickest finish we've ever had.
I was going to say that. I've never commentated a race that ended so fast. Just because they were so close together. What an amazing race.
Big 4 seconds, which is just nuts.
Oh, goodness me. Nobody was quick to leave the session, which is a bit of a shame, but I can understand it because his race just really disintegrated as it went on. But there it is. Williams, you have been very well represented in this race then. So that is Tino now Cunningham on the top spots with Isaac Price. Again, 2 races, 2 podiums for him. Great effort. And Daniele Haddad, once again, a Renault in the podium positions. And Carrington was right there to back them up. Wow. Absolutely. But it's going to take me a while to catch my breath. But those are your confirmed finishing positions. All yours, Hamish.
Yep. So... Oh, hang on, 2 seconds. My game just decided to close. Williams in P1. What a great result for Williams driver. Isaac in P2. Daniele Haddad in P3. Carrington in P4. Sorensen in P5. I think he'd be pleased with that. He was up from P6. Wycombs in P6. Tunisia in P7. I was saying earlier it was very disappointing how he wasn't able to climb up the grid. He did gain a couple of positions, so good enough job from him. Garrix is going to be disappointed in P5 after a very decent qualifying Mercedes driver. Photon up a couple of positions in P9. Frey Schneider, he didn't gain any positions, but he also didn't lose any, so he's got at least 1 point. Chromatic's going to be so frustrated with those penalties. 12 seconds of penalties. King-Kodiak, originally he finished in what? I think P7?
5 for Chromatic, yeah.
Nobody in P12, and of course Railgon had a poor race anyway. He retired in 13th.
Right. It's time for the interview music, and let's see who wants to talk to us. We currently have Wycombs and Daniele Haddad. Hopefully we'll get the rest of our, or particularly our podium guys in, but let's grab Wycombs and Daniele in. And we have them. Right, hello gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to join us. A great pleasure to have you with us. First off, let us speak to our hot lap setter. It is Wycombs. Hello to you, sir. You were in quite a lot of fighting. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see all of your battles going on, but it looks like you were having a fairly decent time in the Red Bull. How are you feeling after that one?
Not too bad, I guess. Yeah, it was all about really trying to stay in that slipstream train in the first couple of laps. Unfortunately, Crow decided to attack Garrix, so that dropped us out of the top 5, which is a little bit costly towards the end, I would say, if like to have any chance of getting like a top 5 in the end, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I just try to be cautious, try to stay in the slipstream of people, and then I obviously like went a lap longer than anyone else on the softs as well, because it didn't really lose me any, positions at all, to be honest. So that worked out actually quite well. Yeah, unfortunately I dropped a little bit back from the battle, I think it was for P5, and then side by side with David Tonitsa towards Stone on the final lap was pretty fun.
Awesome stuff. Great effort for you. Well done. That was thoroughly good to see. Let us also come over to Daniele Haddad in the Renault on the podium once again. Wow. It was a shame. Unfortunately, we had a bit of desync on our side, so we couldn't see all of the moves going on between you and Tim. But my goodness me, what an incredible battle you were having.
Yes, good evening everybody. It was a hard race because I was desync from the formation lap with Team, and it was a pity because we were really fast at the same level, and we could have much more battle than what we showed, because I only battled with Isaac and Alvaro, and I knew that Team was just inside me, but I didn't see him, so it was really a bad thing. But honestly, for me, it was a good race today, good quali also, because after a few weeks that I wasn't so fast in the quali like in the practice, in the official quali. Today was really important for me to be in the top lines, and that's okay because I was really near to the pole position. About the race, I tried my best. The three guys of Williams were really fast. Me as well, because I was with them, but honestly I couldn't do more than what I did, and just congrats to the three guys that were with me all the race.
Absolutely, very well spoken, and we've thoroughly enjoyed your racing so far this season, and for the second half we enjoy it. We will no doubt enjoy it further.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Isaac Price, well, we're glad that you could join us once again this week. Very kind of you to step in. Obviously, we had a few spaces, and what a race you put on. But it looked like you were struggling to kind of try and break away from the pack. Was it just, did you have sort of damage, or was it just the raw pace of the guys fighting behind you that kept them in touch?
Oh, well, I mean, around here, the slipstream and the DRS is so powerful that you can't really break away from anyone. Like, you have to be substantially faster to break away. So my thought the whole time was to basically manage everything, and then you have as much left at the end of the race when you're fighting for the positions across the line as possible. I mean, I felt like I was managing the race quite well. Obviously, with kind of 6 or 7 laps to go, I was in a vocal chat with Tino, and he let me know that he was actually desynced with Daniele Haddad, because obviously they were switching positions constantly. So obviously coming towards the end of the race, I had them both like 3/10 right behind me, and I mean, I think you can, from my perspective, they were both desynced from each other, but they weren't to me. So I would have had to have raced against 2 people at the same time, and I felt like that was just a recipe for an accident, to be honest. So when Tino passed me with like 2 or 3 laps to go, I kind of made the conscious decision that I was going to sit behind him and just manage the race to try and make sure that we got a Williams 1-2, because if I would overtake him, it could cause a colossal accident with Haddad. If Haddad was like trying to overtake me at the same time whilst I'm overtaking Tino, but they don't know where each other are, it would have been dangerous. So I felt like the best thing to do is just to sit behind him and use him to defend my position against Daniele. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun race. It was a bit of a shame that there was a bit of a technical issue there that kind of stopped it being an awesome race, but at the same time, it's, you know, all our hard work in practice paying off. And obviously congratulations to Tino winning his first AOR race for a while. I mean, he had the pace. You know, his pole lap was incredible. I mean, yeah, that's almost the same pace that we were doing in practice. So, yeah, great job by him, and thanks to the team.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it yourself, the practice is paying off. Isn't it just? So, the last person to speak to is our race winner. It is Tino. Well. You... Yeah. So we saw you announce that it's your first pole position in AOR, so congratulations to that. And then backing it up with the race win. Unfortunately, I think it was Photon stole the fastest lap from you, so you can have words with him after that. But
I don't really mind about not getting fastest lap, but I'm just so happy, like, winning the race. I won the race, like, it has been a year I won the race. So it was season 14 last time I won the race, so it feels so good. And obviously getting that first ever pole in the league is also very good. And pretty much, I think it wasn't my PB, but it was like 2,000 slower than my PB practice. So yeah, I know that obviously under pressure that was so impressive. And obviously it was so sad that I had that teasing with Daniele, but yeah, because I was asking from Isaac all the time, like, where is he? Because I had literally no idea, like. And then one lap he's lagged car actually blocked me in the corner, so I had to like went fully on the brakes and like stall or something like that. But that was obviously kind of frustrating. Also, like Isaac and Alvaro, I don't know when Danielle did it, to be fair, but like they all, I think they went for overcut, and I got blocked in the pit lane and lost like second. So that meant I dropped the P3. So I had to come back to Isaac's slipstream and DRS. So that was those 2 laps after pit stop was probably my like most important in a while. So yeah, I'm just so happy to win the race finally. But yeah, good job for Isaac as well. Like thanks for the practice, and yeah, for him being so like he got the game like almost over 1 month ago, and now he's already
Wow.
like finishing on podiums like constantly. It's so impressive for him. And obviously Alvaro, good job for him after being like not practicing that much because he was in DreamHack.
Amazing stuff. And also, speaking of driver of the day, the votes are in, and it has gone to our race winner. It's Tino Norkarinen has taken that one by a pretty inclusive margin as well. Absolutely amazing stuff. Well done to you. Just around, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Tino, but was it last season that you went long in the last session and blew a tyre on the exit of Beckett?
Yeah, I bid it too early for softs, which were the softer tires at that time, and I got puncture. I lost the podium there. But yeah.
So,
I don't want to remind. Yeah, I don't want to remind them.
You are redeemed. And that's going to bring it to an end for tonight. And actually for the final F1 race of the year, because we have our Xbox One guys going now. So their race is still going on, but for PC, that is it for 2018. We will be back in the new year, of course, to start the second half of the season anew. But thank you very much to you guys that have been following us through the stream. It is a great pleasure to commentate for yourselves. Thank you very much, Hamish, for joining me and tolerating me in the commentary box. Always a pleasure to have you with me, good sir.
Yes, my pleasure.
Thank you to our drivers for putting on, once again, an incredible battle. Even though there's a few less of you this time, it was amazing to commentate on you guys. Thank you very much to our sponsors, of course. Without you guys, the league would not grow the way that it has. So for 2018, that is going to be it, but there is still racing to be had over here at AOR. So join us yet again for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.